Hello and welcome back to our podcast. My name is Dr. Alison Chwara. I'm the CEO and founder of Human Focus Limited, a company that is truly dedicated to creating happier and healthier community societies, workplaces, and nations. Thank you for joining me once more on this podcast. This month, we've been touching on a number of things around presence, curiosity, and openness. Today, I want to talk about something slightly different. Let me start here plainly. Not everyone who walks with you in your career is meant to walk with you for the entire journey. And that doesn't necessarily mean that anyone failed. It doesn't mean someone betrayed you, and it doesn't necessarily mean you misjudged them, because some people are assignments and not companions. It often just happens the assignment perhaps has just ended. See, some people are there to build you. Some people are there to help you learn. Some people are there to stretch you a little bit more. And some are there to help you survive a phase in your life. But not all of them are meant to stay. I hope I'm speaking to somebody. But this truth becomes especially important when you're building something, a career, a company, or a vision. Entrepreneurship and leadership have a very funny way of exposing this lesson really early. You start out together, small team, shared dreams, shared struggles, etc. The late nights, the big conversations, belief before evidence. And it feels like everyone will go the whole way with you. But growth changes the room. And not everyone who helped you start is meant to help you scale. That's not disloyalty. That's capacity and timing. I want to talk about a very real example of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs co-founded Apple, I believe in his 20s, I think. And Apple was his vision, was his baby, his idea, his passion. And yet, at around 30, he was removed from the very company he built. Can you imagine the pain? Can you imagine the shock? People talk about that moment as rejection, but I want us to look closer. The board, the leadership structure at that time, the company itself in that hour, they were not ready for the version of Job or Stephen Jobs that existed in that time. You see, Stephen Jobs was not ready for the leader Apple would later need. He wasn't ready. That separation was assignment completion. Job went to build next. He bought and then grew Pixar. He matured creatively, emotionally, and strategically. And when he returned to Apple years later, he was no longer the same man that they had removed. And Apple was no longer the same company that he had walked away from. This time, they could walk together. That part we often miss. Sometimes separation isn't rejection, it's preparation on both sides. Now, I want to bring this closer to home. In your career, you will work with managers who shape you, but they cannot grow with you. You will work with people or partners who help you start but can't help you scale. You will work with teams that lift you early phase but struggle with your evolution. You may also work with people who truly just want to see you in, but they don't know how to. And if you can try to carry everyone forward, you'll find that you may slow the journey. And if you cling out of guilt, you start shrinking yourself. You see, neuroscience helps explain why this is emotionally difficult and hard. The brain equates familiarity with safety. We now know that, isn't it? So when professional relationships change, when roles shift, when teams restructure, when partnerships dissolve and new ones come in. Gosh, as my brother would say, your nerves are on high alert. Your nervous system resists. You feel anxious. You question yourself. You replay conversations, not because something is wrong, but because change removes certainty. And growth always removes certainty. And here's the mature truth every entrepreneur must face. Not everyone who believes in your idea is prepared for your next level. Some people, you see, are assigned to help you launch. Others are assigned to help you lead. And confusing those two roles will create frustrations on both sides. And this is where wisdom comes in. Wise leaders don't bend bridges. They don't dramatize transition either. They don't even rewrite history to try and justify their growth. They just honor the season that it is. They say, this actually mattered. This really helped. And now it's different. We're in a different space. You know, my mom used to say something that fits perfectly here too. She used to say, vanhu vanobatsira kusvika panzvimbo pane imwe nzvimbo kwete rwendo rwese. Some people will help you reach a place, not the entire journey. She wasn't dismissive. She was being extremely practical with the truth and maybe generous with the truth. Because maturity is knowing when to move forward without resentment. And this matters in business. You see, when founders refuse to release early stage dynamics, companies stall. When professionals refuse to outgrow old roles, careers platoon. Sometimes when leaders refuse to accept that some people can't come along, they compromise the mission. And this is not ignorance, it's stewardship. There's another hard truth, and I'll say it with respect. Some people struggle with your growth because your expansion changes their role. That discomfort doesn't make them bad people, but it doesn't mean that their assignment may be complete. And sometimes forcing companionship only creates tension. So how do you know the difference? Assignment often, or assignments, belong clearly to one phase. Assignments struggle with systems when systems mature and they feel misaligned. As things and complexities increase, companions, they evolve with your vision. They adjust as the organization grows. They are not threatened by structure or scale, and they recognize this early. And it saves relationships and it saves businesses. I want this to land very gently. If you're in a season where professional relationships are shifting, where old structures no longer fit, where certain people can't necessarily move with you, this does not mean you're disloyal. It means you're growing, and that growth requires discernment. And that growth may lead you on a completely different path than they envisioned. Just like Steve Jobs and Apple. They had a separation. They went through development, self and company, professional development. There was a return. Those different seasons created the same purpose that later unfolded. One prepared, one matured. Then the alignment returned. You see, when you honor assignments for what they are, you create space for true companions to emerge. People who can work with the current version of you, not the one you had to be at the very beginning, because you've changed. Next time, I want us to talk about how to recognize companions in business when they show up. Because they don't always look impressive at first. No, sometimes they look like the worst person who challenges you, who tells you the things you don't want to hear. For now, build, and build carefully. Release with grace and trust that the right people will meet you at the right altitude. I trust that. They will meet you at the right place. Completion of an assignment is not loss. Completion is success. Timing requires growth sometimes. And that can also be what we call divine sequencing. In your career or business, you meet people who will open doors like no others, who will challenge you gently, support you. But not maybe necessarily do all of these at the same time, but in a meaningful way, meaningfully. I want you to stay open to what the world has to offer you. When you trust your timing, you move from fear-based thinking like, what if I lose this? You remain grounded. You remain grounded. Stop forcing loyalty. Stop forcing or fearing distance. Stop interpreting change as loss. Instead, stay grateful, grounded, and open. Just trust that what is meant to align will align naturally. Naturally. Let me say this clearly with positivity. Nothing good is being taken away from you. Life is not subtracting, it is orchestrating. And when you honor each appointment for what it is, you create space for the next alignment. And this keeps your energy clean. No resentment, no fear, no scrambling. Just presence, curiosity, and openness. The very things we've been talking about all along. So if your professional world feels like it's shifting, that's movement. That's movement. Your journey is being supported in ways you can't always see yet. For now, stay open, stay grounded, and walk forward knowing always you have companions and you have assignments, helpers. Trust yourself, trust the appointments, trust the timing. Nothing is wasted, nothing is broken, nothing needs forcing. From me to you, from human focus to your organizations, to your hopes, to your communities, it's goodbye for now. Until next time. Ciao for now.